Hey guys, this is the Revolutionary Male. My name is Alex, and I'm here today with another video for you. Today I'm going to analyze an article from metro.co.uk entitled "Male Incompetence is a Subtle Form of Misogyny," written by Miranda Larby. The article is a few years old. It was published on Wednesday, the 1st of November, 2017, but I discovered it, this year, relatively recently, and I'd like to go ahead and read it to you guys and offer my opinion on what it says. Okay, starting the article. Have you ever dated a man who can't cook? Do you know a guy who's rubbish at cleaning or any other kind of domestic chore? Of course you do. It might not be their fault. Many men are raised in traditional families where women do all the household tasks, ironing their little princess pants and serving up regular, large dishes which his future girlfriend then has to try to replicate. I don't know where she's growing up. Most people who grow up now grow up in a family where both their mother and their father work for a living, so the chores are often kind of split up between both parents as well as children. That was my experience growing up. And I grew up with a mother who owned her own residential and commercial cleaning business, and I grew up with a man who was a Marine originally. So we were taught everything about how to take care of ourselves. So I don't know how common this actually is. And she doesn't present any real evidence to say that it's very common at all. So, again, this is just her opinion. Male incompetence is tolerated far more than female ineptitude. I don't know about that. I don't know about that at all. Our society has a number of lovable buffoons who fool around and are excused from acting like prats because they're funny. Just like there are plenty of women out there who, because they're incredibly good looking, they get away with murder. Not literally, sometimes, but they get away with all kinds of stuff. They get away with being lazy and being, a-holes, being unkind and rude and cruel just because they're really good to look at. Trust me, there's plenty of Instagram models out there, I'm sure, who behave this way. Social media allows us to see a lot of these kinds of people. I won't deny that there are plenty of lovable buffoons out there who are men as well. Absolutely, that is the case. But to claim that this particular behavioral characteristic is a consequence of misogyny is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. For people like this, everything comes back to patriarchy and misogyny. They might be rubbish at most things, but as long as their banter is flowing, we put up with it. These types are almost exclusively men. You don't get hilarious, idiotic women being lorded as icons of our culture. Diane Abbott is dismissed as a cretin, while Boris Johnson is a joker. I don't know who Diane Abbott is. I know Boris Johnson is the Prime Minister of the UK now. I don't know if he was at the time that she wrote this article. But this is ridiculous. There are plenty of women in this world who are lorded over us as icons of culture. The Kardashians are one in particular. An entire family of women who are lorded over us as icons of popular culture, who are probably stupid. There's plenty of reality TV shows with women like this. These are common characteristics of both men and women. To claim otherwise is just to be completely disingenuous. Reading her article again, which begs the question, is conscious male incompetence a form of misogyny? I'll give you the real answer, no, it is not. If you labor the point that you can't cook, then chances are that you won't be made to cook. If you make a hash out of doing the laundry or hoovering, you're forcing someone else to take over. Yeah, that's very true. There's lots of people who use that particular tactic to get out of doing things they don't want to do. Very, very common. If you don't want to do something, you do it poorly. I don't think this is something that is specific to men. Again, ridiculous. Few have the patience to watch someone do a job badly over and over again, and so often they'll just take it upon themselves to do your chores as well as their own. Emotional labor is doubled when you've got an incompetent clown on your hands. Here we go with the idea with emotional labor. Again, as I've said in previous videos, emotional labor has absolutely nothing to do with interpersonal relationships. It's a concept created by a social scientist to analyze and discuss relationships in workplaces. It has nothing to do with interpersonal relationships whatsoever. Continuing, I was recently listening to Semicircles, a BBC radio comedy starring Paula Wilcox, first broadcast in 1989. It's about a housewife who recently wakes up to the fact that she spent the past 8 years being a slave to her kids and nice but emotionally dim husband. Part of this awakening is the realization that she does all the housework because her husband is crap at it. Stopping here, how about all those TV shows now with the dumb husband? This is a common trope. 60 years ago, it was I Love Lucy, and Lucy was the idiot. Today, it's Everybody Loves Raymond or Modern Family, where the husbands are the idiots and the wives are the professional, go-getting, ambitious, successful ones. Or King of Queens, another perfect example. Continuing here. Left alone, he makes inedible food. He lets the kids stay up well beyond their bedtime. He leaves the house a tip. Again, there's lots of English slang, I guess, in here I'm not familiar with, so if it's a little confusing, I apologize. He doesn't even try to do a good job because he fears that if he's too good at these jobs, his wife will make him do more of them. As I spent the evening meal prepping for two and worrying about what my partner could have for breakfast, it struck me that not an awful lot has changed over the past 30 years. Yes, an awful lot has changed over the past 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. Absolutely a lot has. To deny this is ridiculous. How women like this can deny the reality that is in front of their faces and out in the world, in popular culture, everywhere, is amazing to me. The world has changed radically in the last half century. Radically. She continues, while I've dated some very domesticated guys who are far better than I at cooking and ironing, I've also had relationships with men who don't even know how to cook porridge. Undermining your own argument, lady. Undermining your own argument. Again, this has nothing to do with misogyny or sexism. These are skill sets. Some people develop them, learn how to early on. Some people do not. Just like anything else. Is that a result of being de-skilled as a child by overbearing mothers? It could be, but we don't know without knowing their childhood history. Continuing here. Sorry, I had to jump in after that sentence. Or is it a conscious choice not to hone quote-unquote worthless skills because they know someone else will do it for them? I'm inclined to think it's the latter. Of course you are. You're looking for problems where none exist. Plenty of people are raised in boarding schools or by all-encompassing parents and have the gumption to learn to cook or at least Google how to throw a simple meal together. Porridge is literally oats and milk or water. How hard can it be? But those who choose to remain ignorant and then ask their girlfriends, wives, partners to do it for them are participating in a very subtle form of misogyny that burdens women with low-level emotional labor. Again, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Is it fair for a boyfriend or a girlfriend to pretend to do something poorly so they don't have to do it? Maybe, maybe not. It depends on the relationship and how much each partner participates in dividing all of chores. There are certain things that some people might like doing more than others. And of course, when she's talking about all this domestic labor, she doesn't actually include any of the labor that's traditionally done by men outside the house, or repairs that are done around the house, or unclogging toilets, things like that. None of that is ever included in these discussions. Nobody ever gives a damn about emotional labor in that context, do they? Jesus. And that is labor, continuing her article, and that labor is even more thankless for young, unattached women than it is when it's directed at mothers. What? The expectation that you're supposed to have your own shit together as a young woman and be able to look after a fully grown man with whom you have no familial attachment is draining. Who is giving these women this expectation? I would like to know. Because from my experience, it's all the expectations now are about being a strong, independent woman and not needing no man, especially not taking care of one. So I don't know what she's talking about. Does this maybe exist with some women? Sure, I'm sure that it does. It's very codependent, and I think this speaks to bigger problems that this woman might have, and women like her might have, that have nothing to do with misogyny. Finally here. So next time you ask your girlfriend if they could give you your shirt a quick iron because you're rubbish at it, just stop and have a think. Are you really that thick? Or are you just offloading your laziness onto someone who traditionally has been made responsible for male incompetence? Maybe she just irons well. Although I don't know that anybody buys a lot of shirts anymore that need to be ironed. A lot of shirts are now made to be iron free. But whatever. This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. These articles like this. Everything is misogyny, apparently. All male behavior is misogyny. Even bad behavior that could be exhibited by a man or a woman is considered misogyny now. It's absurd, right? I think so. Well, that's the end of this one, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you come back for more. I'm going to try and continue to put out videos. If you have any comments, please leave them underneath the video here on the channel. If you'd like to send me any stories that you find or any of your own individual stories, you can go ahead and send me an email at therevolutionarymail@gmail.com. I would appreciate it, and I will be happy to share them on the channel. And if you have any questions, you can always email me there as well. My name is Alex. This is The Revolutionary Male. I'll see you next time.